Hey guys, what is up? I'm Cameo, and today we're going to be talking about an awesome, awesome PC build that costs about $850, and the best part about it is that it's sitting right behind me. So let's get started. So this PC build is basically my main PC build. It's what I use on a daily basis to do anything from gaming to editing video to streaming to browsing the web. It's just my main machine that I use for pretty much everything. And you know, it's lacking in some departments. I guess not really lacking, but you know, it's not the strongest in some departments, but it's also a very strong competitor in other departments. So let's talk about some of the parts. The first part of this build is the Intel i7-4790K CPU. Now this CPU is a beast CPU. As of right now, it's about $320. I got it when it was about $300, so the prices vary a little bit. It just depends on, you know, if there's a sale or not, where you're buying from. But this is a beast Intel CPU to complement this beast Intel setup. Now the cooler for that CPU, you know, it's a beast CPU, you might as well need a really good cooler. So this is the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo CPU cooler. Now this is probably one of the most popular CPU coolers out there when it's not water cooled. You know, going just by air cooling. This is one of the most popular CPU coolers, and it's very cheap too. It's about $25. So very strong CPU cooler, very nice cooler. So with this Intel CPU, a very strong CPU, you're going to need a very strong motherboard, and a motherboard that you know, allows this CPU. So I went with the MSI Z97 PCMate ATX motherboard, and this motherboard is about $90. It's very fast. It has, you know, 4 spots for memory. It has, you know, some PCI Express ports. It has everything I need, and it works with my i7-4790K, which was the biggest part for me. For memory, I went with G.Skill Ripjaw Series, 8GB. You know, it's just straight up gaming memory. It works great. It's awesome. I haven't had any problems. I'm going to upgrade to 16GB eventually, probably 2 8GB sticks, or buy 2 more 4. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet, but right now I have 2 sticks of 4GB, and it works great. So, you know, with my motherboard, I can get up to 32GB of memory, I believe. Maybe it's 64 even, but I probably won't even go over 32. 32 is still a lot. So we'll see what I do, and yeah, memory, great. For storage, I went with 2 different drives. I went with an ADATA Premier Pro SSD, 256GB SSD, which cost about $100. And I also went with a, you know, straight up Western Digital Blue 1TB drive, 7200 RPM, great drive, cheap drive. You can get it on Amazon for about 50 bucks. And then the SSD you can get for about $90 to $100, depending on where you buy it from. And with those drives, I use the SSD as just a boot drive for Windows, along with some other programs that can take a little bit to open, like Photoshop and After Effects and programs like that. Pretty much just my, you know, programs and boot drive. And then my Western Digital Blue drive is just for like files, video files, pictures, documents, music, everything else that doesn't need to be accessed instantly whenever I need it. So for my video card, I went with the EVGA GTX 750 Ti 2GB superclocked video card, and this video card is a very good starter card. I actually had it originally before I built this PC. I had it for my OEM Best Buy machine that needed a graphics card, so I bought it. That way I didn't have to upgrade the power supply. It worked fine. It uses such little power. It's such a good card too. It's such a great starter card, and I'm going to be upgrading in the future to probably, you know, like a 780 Ti or probably a 780 Ti is probably the next step for me. So, you know, a full-size card. But the 750 Ti still is a very good card, especially if you're not going to be playing games on max settings. I can pretty much play anything I want. It's a very strong card, very solid choice, especially when you're not really into PC gaming, like super hardcore on high settings. Now for my case, I had a couple limitations. I definitely wanted a case that had a window and a case with LEDs. I don't need like over-the-top LEDs, but just some LEDs. And as you can see, my case has both of those. It has a window on the side, which I can look in to see my mess of wires, but it still looks awesome to be able to see, you know, look inside and be like, hey, I built that. And also the blue LEDs and the fans just complement it really well, especially with my blue speakers. that sit on either side of the tower. Also, the case is very cheap. It's about 40 bucks, and it has a ton of hard drive bays and a ton of optical drive bays, so it's great if you need a bunch of hard drives or if you need 2 or 3 DVD drives. Got both of those covered. I'm pretty sure it has 6 or 7 hard drive bays, 4 3.5 inch and I think 3 SSD 2.5 inch drive slots. So either way, it's a very solid case with tons of wire management options, and it's just a solid, cheap case with LEDs in the window. Now for the power supply, I went with the EVGA 500 watt 80 plus certified power supply. Now I went with this power supply because I've had an EVGA power supply in the past, 430 watt actually, which I probably could have used, but I decided I'm gonna buy a new power supply, just just avoid any problems that we would have with a power supply that's already been used, even though there's not gonna be very many. But I bought this new power supply and it works fantastic. There's not really much to say about it. The only thing is that the clip, it might be the motherboard or it might be the power supply. The clip that goes from the power supply into the motherboard was really hard to get in at first. I felt like I was going to break the motherboard, but I got it in. I got the clip into the motherboard, so everything's good now. It's clipped shut. You can't just pull it out. It's, you gotta like hold the one of the clip things down to pull it out. I don't know what those things are called, but it's a tab that you hold down to pull it out. But I finally got it, so we're good on that. Other than that, it's a very solid power supply, very cheap too, about $28, 30 bucks. So, awesome power supply if you guys are in need of a cheap, good, solid power supply. Now the last thing I used for this build was an Asus DVD CD writer. Now I needed a DVD drive just because I still burn some DVDs for like marching band. I make like DVDs that cover the whole season, so I needed a DVD drive. And I also got one just because they're cheap. I might as well have one, that way I can use my Windows boot disk without having to like create a boot flash drive. I can just use the disk and it's fine. So got a DVD drive for about 15 bucks on Amazon. It's a very solid drive. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a very strong, solid drive that does what it needs to. It's a DVD writer, CD writer, it works great. And that's my build, guys. I did have a copy of Windows 8.1 that I still hadn't used yet, so I used that on this PC. And now that's the build. This PC is fantastic. I love it. I use it for video editing, live streaming, gaming, everything like I said, and it's such a solid machine. I love it, and like I said, it was about $850. Prices can range depending on the time of sales and how much each individual thing is. For me, I paid about $800. I think it was about $800 for this whole build. Some parts were bought like Black Friday, so always look out for sales on different parts. I think my CPU is about $290. I think it was $299, so about $300 versus $330 or $320, whatever it's at right now. There will be a link to all of the parts down in the description below. And yeah, so if you guys want to build this, you guys can go to PC Part Picker, link in the description below, and look at all the parts for this build. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I wanted to try something different. I haven't really done a PC build video before, but this is my PC build, and it's a very solid PC build. I love it. It's such a good PC. It's so much better than my OEM, Best Buy machine that I bought for $500. A couple hundred more, and I got this thing, which is a beast. So this Intel-based killer is so good. This Intel-based machine is so good. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and before we go, let's take a look at our sponsor. Have you ever wanted to get paid for answering questions? Well, then Opinion Outpost is for you. Go to the link down in the description to sign up for a free account. This is completely free. You answer some questions, then you're allowed to answer some surveys. You answer surveys that can last up to about half an hour, and then you get points for answering the surveys. Survey companies are literally paying you money to answer questions that will benefit them in the future. So you answer some questions, you get some points, you redeem those points for Amazon gift cards, PayPal money, and more. Just go to the link in the description down below, Opinion Outpost, sign up for an account today. It is awesome. I love their service. I use it pretty much every single day, answer a couple surveys a day, and that money just starts racking up. So go check out the link in the description down below, sign up for Opinion Outpost, and let's return to the
Again,
video.
guys, thank you guys for watching. Check out Opinion Outpost. Link will be in the description below. And I will see you guys in our next video. Peace.